Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. And folks, it's just a pleasure to have Dan Infalt on the show again from the Hunting Beast. And Dan and I are going to do something unique. We're going to do a 3-part series tonight. And Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
Hey, how's the shed hunting been before we get into the show?
I haven't been out that much. I've been doing so much work online and stuff and out scouting for people. I found a couple real big sheds that I targeted, but I really didn't go out just pounding for sheds or anything.
You're already building your hit list then, if I hear what you just said.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm more worried about what I'm going to kill than collecting pieces of bone.
Now, are these deer that you hoping that were left over from last year?
Yeah.
And so they made it through the winter?
Yeah.
Well, as far as we know, because in Wisconsin, when do they usually drop their antlers?
It can be anywhere from mid-December to March.
Okay. But anyway, you found 2 sets?
Found one off of each buck I was looking at. Yeah.
Okay. So you know proximity sort of kind of where they are. One, they made it through, and so the hunt begins. Well, the hunt never ended with you.
Right.
Well,
I saw a picture of you recently with giant trout.
What?
I saw a picture of you recently with a giant trout you caught, eh?
Oh, that was unbelievable. I have not fished up there for over 10 years. It's technical water because you're fishing icor to your aquarium because the trout can see you. It's just like fishing in an aquarium that's moving, and it's a tailwater, so mice and shrimp and all the food just comes off the bottom, and controlled temperature all year round. I mean, you can go up any time of year and catch those fish if you can catch them. And that's the hard thing because everybody knows they're there, and it's a world-class destination and people from all over come. And I was so happy that I get there at 10 a.m. I didn't catch that fish till 4:30. And I took a break for lunch, so that's an hour. So I fished 5 hours.
It was an amazing fish.
Yeah, and it's my personal best in the lower 48. You know, I've been up to Alaska and caught some rainbows. They're completely hog. But this, for the lower 48, it's a gorgeous fish, and thank you for bringing that up because it made my year.
It made my day just seeing it. It was a pretty cool picture. You see the joy in your face.
Yeah.
Well, I could see your face with that big fish blocking everything.
One thing, and listeners, if you saw the fish, my hand slipped. It went into the gill, under the gill plate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was not harangued, but enough people brought it to my attention. Yes, my bad. I made a mistake, but I had that fish out of the water for maybe 15 seconds, maybe. You know, I grabbed the tail, lifted it up. My buddy took the picture. The guy on the net took the picture, so I apologized, and I won't apologize again. Well, you don't want to kill those fish. I mean, you just don't want to kill those fish, and you want to get it back in the water as soon as you can. Take the picture, and
right.
CPR them. There you go. But thanks for bringing that up, Dan. That's on the par of shooting a booner deer out of one of your kill trees with your bow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It happened. All right, folks. So we're going to get on with the show. Enough about my fly fishing, and Dan's already 365 hunter, and he's already started his hit list. And so anybody who follows Dan knows his abilities, his skill set, his ability to communicate. That's why we're having this 3-part episode, and there'll be 3 parts. And the first one is confidence or the mental aspect of hunting. Dan, you wrote a post on Facebook and Instagram, and I picked up on it, called you, and here we are. So, let's unpack this and sit down and talk about the confidence factor that somebody has to have. They want to kill mature bucks.
Yeah, everybody wants to talk about tactics and skill and what the new trick is or what the new gimmick is or whatever. But it's seldom talked about the mental aspects of deer hunting. And really, I've come to see it with so many people I know that, the skill level isn't that different. I mean, people that know how to hunt the same as somebody else, but the people with the negative attitude never seem to get it done. And, when you go out in that woods and you're going to your hunting spot or whatever, if you don't believe in it, you don't set up properly. You're not quiet enough. Your mind's wandering. If something comes out, they catch you anyways. And I think that positive attitude, you're going out there, you're actually noticing what's going on around you. You're seeing if there's new sign or something. You're thinking about that next hunt instead of thinking about getting home or thinking about what's going on the TV or what you talked about at supper time or whatever. You're concentrating on what's going on around you. You got to get in the game. That mental thing is huge.
Touch on a bunch of different things because, yes, there are a lot of very successful people, and we're talking folks, DIY hunters, public land hunters, or it could be on your own farm, but we're not talking about guided hunts. We're talking about DIY hunts. And so when you think about that, most people who successfully take a buck every year know something about deer hunting. Agreed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's really the very successful people. They believe in themselves. And I think it falls into everything. I mean, even into your work life or anything, you get that guy at work. I mean, I work with apprentice machinists. They come to the shop, and you can talk to a guy for 5 minutes and know if he's going to succeed or not by his attitude. And it's the same with hunting. Yeah, I can talk to a guy, and I know if this guy's a killer or he's going to be just out there holding on a tree stand. A lot of it has to do with your mental outlook on things. Part of the problem with it is, though, with confidence, where do you get confidence from? You get it from success. You got to get those kills under your belt to get some of that confidence, which is part of the tough thing. You can't really teach it, but if you make somebody aware of it, they can try to take strides to improve their attitude.
Want to become a smarter deer hunter? Know when to hunt, where to hunt, how to hunt? Well, Deer Hunting Institute Part 1 was created to do exactly that, because many people have told me they struggle with spending all days in the wood and never seeing a deer, only shooting does and young deer, leaving the woods empty-handed way too many times. Found this wonderful, but just couldn't get on them, having difficult finding a place to hunt, recognizing possible mistakes you're making every year, having tried and failed to find qualified mentors who deliver results. If you had these frustrations or struggles, go to deerhuntinginstitute.com, and there you'll find a 13-module course to help you solve these problems. Again, go to deerhuntinginstitute.com and find some answers. You think about that. In the hunting world today, it's decreasing because we don't have enough mentors and we're not recruiting in the video age and all that. But I have to think back to the guys who mentored me, and what they did, they put me in the position to be successful. What's your thought on that?
I think a lot of it has to do, too, with how those people mentored you into believing in what's going to happen. I mean, when a guy's a good hunter, and he comes to you and he says he's going to take you hunting, you start thinking you're going to kill a buck, right? And then when he says he's going to one's going to come here, and he's going to do this, he's going to do that, even if it doesn't happen, you're ready to go out with that guy again the next day because you believe in him. What we got to do is get people to believe in themselves. Really dig deep and go out there and hunt.
That's hard to teach because I knew, one, the fish was there, just like you know that there's mature bucks in the area. There's no doubt in my mind.
So what gives me that confidence? That scouting. Is that being out there constantly searching for that deer and finding it gives me a lot of the confidence that makes me believe in myself.
So, folks, it goes back really to being a 365 hunter and taking all the pieces to the puzzle. And as you heard at the top of the show, Dan went out and found 2 different sheds from 2 different deer that were on hit list last year. Now they're going to be on his list this year, and he's going to zero in them. And how many deer will you hunt this year?
I have no idea, but it'll probably be quite a few. I hop around a little bit. I get onto 4 or 5 big bucks, and I'll go look for one and see what he's doing or whatever, and try and hunt him. Or I'll get a little too aggressive and screw things up, and I'll give him a break, and I'll go after another one. And I usually have quite a few on my hit list. There's usually 3, 4, 5 from the year before, and then I'll think of one that I messed with or something the year before that I forgot about and go after. And then there'll be new ones that come up that I find. I'll see stuff shining during the summer and glassing, which shining's legal here. I'll get on the bucks. I'll get a trail camera pick or something, and I'll just keep hopping around and moving until I get onto a solid lead, and then I'll hunt that deer down and kill it. And that's that belief that I can do it is why I do.
One of Dan's, I'm just smiling to myself because he said, I'll get on that deer and I'll kill it. Once he decides to do that, he's going to do that. Now, that takes a lot of time and a lot of hunting skills, but it also takes that confidence that he knows he'll get in the right situation with that deer, and the odds tip in his favor, not the deer's favor.
For an example, let's take two guys, me and another guy, and the other guy's got a negative attitude. We both go in the woods and we both hunt 10 days in a row. Neither of us see a deer. That guy's like, I'm done with this. I ain't seeing nothing. It's too hot out. Something's going on. I got to try a different property. I got to do this. I got to do that. I think I'm 10 days closer to killing that buck. I know he's not in these 10 spots. He's going to be my next one or the next one. I'm getting closer. That's the belief. I mean, it's the whole mindset of how you look at something. And another huge one that we should probably touch on is one thing that really affects your attitude is the people you hang around with. And I just won't hunt with negative people because they'll make me negative. If, you go out with your friend, you're like, well, okay, it's rainy, so they're not going to hear us approach. And they're like, I ain't hunting in the rain. This is stupid. You're going to get wet. And all they'll do is complain at you and bring you down and go, why would you do that? Why would you go out in this? Why would, instead of boosting you up and saying, man, yeah, you might be able to get on them today. You might be able to not crunch leaves. You might be able to get closer in, and maybe the wind, you won't see you. You can't have those negative people around you if you really want to be successful.
And that's true, folks, in any part of your life. Yes, we're talking about hunting here, but I heard a long time ago, the people that you run with, the books you read, and your thought pattern today will determine where you're going to be 5 years from now. In my life, that's positively true.
I agree. It's really the power of positive thinking. And it's more of that than what people actually believe. And it's not just sitting in a tree. I mean, if you're sitting in that tree and you're not believing something's going to happen, you're going to leave a little early. You're going to be like, are you going to want to walk out there and cross a river to get to an island where you think a buck's going to be if you don't really believe it's going to be there? You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your game plan. You got to stick to it and just do it.
Have you ever read any of Barry Winslow's books?
No, I haven't. I've seen some of his videos years ago. I always liked the guy. I like listening to him.
Yeah. So anyway, he had a thing in one of his books, and what he would do nothing but concentrate on having a buck come at 6:45 a.m. in the morning. He'd get in his tree stand, he'd get set up, and he would do nothing but just shut his eyes and say, a buck's going to come, a buck's going to come, a buck's going to come. He'd go through his mantra. And like it is not, and you couldn't call it ninja or yin and yang, I can't tell you why it happened, but he had documented him killing deer with that technique. But it's hard on your brain because most people can't concentrate for a minute before they have to think about something else in their brain. And everybody does it. Our brains wander. Our brains never shut down. But he get his book and read it, and you go, holy fright. And he, it's almost conjuring up the deer, but the mental power that he did, it worked. I went, holy fright. And I've used that successfully for fishing. I've never really been able to hang in long enough to bring an elk in or deer in or whatever else I'm hunting. I can't say I ever did it, but I always wondered what that was all about. And it's such a mental process. And I talk to people all the time. If you think you can do it, guess what? You can. If you don't think you can do it, go do something else.
Right. You got to believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Yeah, and folks, this is what hunting is, because hunting, it's a one-on-one. You're challenging the most wily critter in your neighborhood.
Yes, especially when you're getting into those big mature bucks and you're hunting in the kind of places like I do and probably a lot of the listeners, going into public land and pressured land where I might hunt in a property where in 2,000 acres there's one buck I'll shoot, and there's 20 other people trying to kill it. So I'm not in the mental game of going after that thing. I'm not going to get them. Go back on what you were saying about Barry. When I'm sitting in the tree, I'm usually looking at the trails coming from where I think that buck's going to come from. And I'm thinking about what he's going to do and how I'm going to shoot him if he comes through, where I'm going to take my shot, at what point am I going to draw my bow if he's on that trail, if he's doing this or that. Or another guy might be sitting there thinking about, oh, man, what am I going to do about this thing going on at work? Because he's not believing in it's going to happen. But when that buck comes out, I don't have the nerves that guy has. I don't freak out. Because I've already thought about where he's going to be. I've always looked at those trails. I've already thought about where I'm going to shoot, where I'm going to pull back, the bow, how I'm going to get this done. So it all comes more natural to me. That whole power of belief, believing in yourself, is making me think in that direction where I'm already planning out the kill. I'm performing because of that.
Do you want to become a smarter whitetail hunter, knowing when to hunt, where to hunt, how to hunt? Over the past 4 years, people have asked me, hey, I'm struggling with spending all day in the woods and never seeing a deer, only getting opportunities at doe or young bucks, leaving the woods empty-handed too many seasons. Located the deer of a lifetime, but just flat out missed. Having difficulties finding a place to hunt, recognizing mistakes that you're making over and over again, and you want to eliminate them. Having tried and failed to find qualified mentors. Well, you've come to the right place. Why? Because Deer Hunting Institute Part 1 was created by me, Bruce Hutchin. It's a 13-module course that'll talk about being lost in the deer hunting forest. Never hunted. What is a hunter? What is an adult onset hunter? What rules apply? Finding a mentor, choosing a weapon, finding a place to hunt, scouting a hunt location, stand sites, stand access and exit, reading sign, and when to hunt. All these are available for you at deerhuntinginstitute.com. Go now to deerhuntinginstitute.com and sign up for the best deer hunting course in America. Folks, just hear what he just said, because he knows how he's going to kill that deer when that deer comes out. He's not going to have to duck. He's not going to have to shift. And if he does, he knows how he's going to do it. And his firing solution, I call it firing solution. I'm set up in my tree stand, and I'll have 1, 2, or 3 firing solutions done within 15 minutes, 20 minutes of sitting in that stand. As soon as it gets light enough, I know, okay, if he comes here, I can do this, that. And that's exactly the same thing that Dan's talking about. You have to prepare yourself as if in the next 5 minutes, that buck of a lifetime, and that's what we're talking about, bucks of a lifetime, is going to walk out, period.
Absolutely.
And get off your cell phone. You know, it's fun to take pictures. And if I have a buck coming through that I'm not going to shoot, then I just relax. And I don't even touch my bow, and I just click the camera on, and I use my phone. I don't have camera gear, and I just take some pictures, and then I'll throw it on Instagram or to wherever I want to throw it to and share it. But I think cell phones are the bane of people hunting, because I know there's people listening to the show right now that has completely blown a shot because they weren't prepared. What do you think about that?
Right, absolutely. You know, another thing I hear a lot, you know, the whole mental thing, when I get in there, I'm worrying about how I'm going to get this done, because I believe a deer's going to come out. So I will actually try my bow, try shooting it, try standing up and stuff. And I can't believe how many times a person will tell me they saw the biggest buck they ever saw. It came out, and then when they went to stand to shoot, and they have to stand because of the position they're in, they couldn't stand, and they couldn't get their bow back because there's a limb in the way. Or, you know, it's like, well, you didn't try that. You didn't. It never crossed your mind for the 2 hours you were sitting there. And it crosses my mind because I'm worried about those things. I believe it's going to happen that night. Every time I go hunting, and this is the honest to God truth, every time I step in that woods, I have a game plan, I have a buck I'm going after, and I believe I'm going to kill it. Now, 99% of the time I fail, but I brush myself off. The next day I go out there, and again, I believe I'm going to kill it.
Folks, I just want you to take this to heart, because everybody can't be Dan Infalt. Not going to happen. And you've seen his trophies, you've heard him talk and everything. But what I want to share with you on the show is, if you want to up your game, then start incorporating what Dan's talking about. It's the confidence you get. It's your mental process. It's your mental belief system that says, okay, I'm going to do this. And if you've been successful, think about the successful times you've had, and you knew you were going to kill that deer. There was not a doubt in your mind you're going to smoke a buck that morning or that night. It was going to happen. And once you get that, I call the ninja state. You know, once you get in that state or frame, and some people in sports call it the zone, once you get there, then you know it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I won't even hunt. If something puts me in a negative mindset, I won't even hunt. I will not go out not believing I'm going to get something done, because I don't want to ruin it. I want my spots to go in there, the positive mind and that belief I'm going to get it done and get it done.
How many days do you think you archery hunt each fall?
70 to 100. I hunt just about every day of the week. I miss a couple days.
Okay. And Wisconsin, you can take one buck with your bow and one buck during rifle season, right?
Correct.
You can use your bow during rifle season in Wisconsin, so you can hunt both seasons with a bow.
Correct.
You're going to spend 100 days to close the deal. How long does it take to pull your bow back and release it?
Yeah, a minute, for a minute of high, you spend the whole season out there trying. And a lot of people don't get that either. I mean, I know this goes a little off topic, but I get so many people that tell me that I do everything you do, I do everything you say, but I'm not seeing the deer you're seeing. I seen one big buck last year. Well, how many times did you hunt? Well, I only can hunt on a weekend, so I hunted about 10 times. Well, that ain't a fraction of what I hunt. And my success can't be compared to that because the amount of time I'm putting in is so much more that I'm obviously going to have more success just for the time I'm in the woods.
But from the time you see a deer to the time you shoot that deer is about a minute, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes longer. Sometimes they come in slow and hang around, but it's obviously a half an hour at most out of that whole season.
Yeah, you're on top of a deer a half an hour, so you're investing all that time, and that's going to lead us into the next topic or the second topic, third topic. But anyway, folks, it's an investment that if you want to be mature buck hunter, and we're not talking booners, we're just talking the biggest deer in your neck of the woods, the 40, whatever it is, public land deer, you have to invest the time. I loved how Dan just said it. If you had a crappy day, you had a fight with your girlfriend, your best buddy, you had 3 flat tires, I don't know. It's just a bad day. Just don't go hunting. That's what I hear you saying.
Take care of the problem that you have and take that day off.
Now, do you think that the bucks are drawn to you in any way because of your attitude?
No, I don't believe that, but I believe that my attitude makes me prepared when they come out, and it makes me there longer. It makes me get up in the morning when my alarm clock goes off. It gets me to go that extra mile, cross a river. It gets me to enter the woods in a different way. Instead of walking from point A from the truck down the road straight to my stand and climbing a tree, it gets me to scout my way in, looking for more sign because I believe there's a buck there that I can hunt and kill, and I go out of my way to do those things because of my attitude. So I don't think that it actually has some sort of magnetic pull or something. But I do believe that it's put me in the right situation when a buck does cross paths with me. How many bucks do you think of coming into a guy's tree stand where he was going to sit when he hit the snooze button and slept in? I bet you it's millions of deer from people over the years.
I'm just laughing because there's a saying out west for elk hunters, you snooze, you lose. And there's a picture of a guy taking a nap in the sun, been up since 3:30 in the morning, and a herd of elk just slip on by him.
Yeah.
But it's true. How many people have shown you trail camera pictures and just say, I left the stand at 6:05, at 6:15, the buck of my dreams walked by, and nobody's in the stand. I mean, folks, it happened.
Yeah, it's happened to me. With a good attitude. I mean, if you're not there, you can't kill them. But in the same standpoint, if you go in there with the wrong mentality, you might not get it done either.
I just brought up the thing where the deer shows up 10 minutes after you left. He was no more than a quarter of a mile away from when you left your stand, 200 yards. He might have even been better within 100 yards. And he was just waiting for you to leave. I think about that all the time because I know the deer where I hunt, I know the buck is there. Whether he's on this side of the road, that side of the road, I know he's within less than a quarter of a mile of me at any time during the day, no matter what stand I'm sitting in.
Right.
Because he's there.
When I hunt, I'm hunting in close proximity to where I believe that deer's bedding. So I believe that most of the time I'm really close to one of those bucks. It's just a matter of him getting up and moving to me to shoot.
Yeah, just share briefly, if people don't know your technique, the bedding areas, and you hunt in high dense cover, typically swamps. So just kind of outline that.
Well, so for me, what it is that I hunt a lot of high pressure stuff. And what I do is I figure out where I believe those deer are bedding, and I get within a very close proximity because what I believe happens is those deer, those mature bucks, which are what I want to go after, they get up and they don't move more than a couple hundred yards from that bedding area in daylight. And then it's too late to shoot. So you have to push that envelope in order to kill them. So I'm usually right on top of them when I set up. So I'm sneaking into these areas real quiet and setting up real quiet.
And is it basically swamp cover with high bulrushes, or is it thick timber, or?
Well, I hunt all kinds of terrains, and that's what's great about Wisconsin is we got a big variety. But I hunt all over the place. I hunt hill country, I hunt swamps, I hunt marshes, I hunt big woods. And every one of them is a little different. I mean, you can get closer in some areas, and you got to stay further away in others. But I kind of prefer, in my area where I live, swamps because there's so much pressure in this particular portion of the state that if you don't have water around the bedding areas, they won't hold big bucks because people will just drive everything out. But for whatever reason, the people don't walk through the water to get to where the deer are. So the deer will find these little dry spots within the water. And I've been very lucky hunting those types of spots, those isolated dry spots within water. like little islands, spots where there's little raised spots in the wet area of cattails or tamarack or dogwood.
Now, are you setting up tree stands or are you hunting right off the ground?
Probably 98% of my hunts are out of a tree. I sneak in and I climb a tree and set up a stand.
So even that itself is an art form, because don't you have to take the tree stand down on public land every day?
Absolutely, yeah. Where I'm at, you have to take it down every time you're done using it. And I have to get in there, sneak this thing up. And remember, I'm setting up 100 or 150 yards from this deer, sometimes even closer than that. And I got to set that stand up without making no noise and not getting noticed and be able to kill that deer. But if you try shooting them on the ground and that thick a cover, you can't get an arrow through anything. And you usually get spotted trying to move or whatever, and you can't hear them coming because the cover keeps the noise from getting to you. But you get up in a tree, you can hear them when they rise, you can see them coming, and anytime they hit a little opening, you can take a shot. So sometimes I'm only, 6-8 feet off the ground, sometimes higher. Every situation's different, but it's really getting in there, slipping in tight. And that's a big part of my confidence thing is, too, if you're hunting like that, if you go in there not believing in yourself, you're probably going to make too much noise. You got to believe a deer's there to really sneak, you know what I mean? To really creep in there.
Yeah, and it's dark when you're setting up the stand, so even though that's an art form, are you using a climber or just a hang-on?
I'll use a hang-on. I actually make my own. I make my own sticks and hang-on. I made something really lightweight and mobile. We actually started marketing the sticks this year. I'm sure you've seen them around the internet. Stand will probably be next year. But I made some real small stuff I can get into those trees. Yeah, I know you said setting up in the dark in the morning. I do that, but most of my kill success on those bedding areas is usually in the evening. Go in there in daylight while they're snoozing, while they're sleeping in there, and sneak up downwind and set up on them.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show tonight. Before we go, can I take a moment and say thank you? Listen, as we started the Whitetail Rendezvous podcast journey, we had no idea what to expect. But after 4 years, we received a ton of feedback from our over 400,000 listeners and climbing to 500,000. Speaking of which, we are now closing in on over 600 featured guests. Thank you. And a quick shout out to all those who have left an iTunes review and your feedback. I get those and really appreciate it. And it's awesome to see what you have to say, and we do read every single one of them. And I just want you to know that I am incredibly grateful for your kind words regarding the show. And all of the ratings and reviews help us attract more listeners. And if you're one of those new listeners, welcome. Great to have you. By the way, if you haven't taken the time to rate and review our show and like the Hunting on Private Land strategy on how to get permission to hunt a private property, go to whitetailrendezvous.com as a special gift for just rating and reviewing our show. When you get there, look for the start button to get the details. Listen, I'll share you the top technique from some of the top hunters in the country on how do they get permission to hunt on private land. I'll share with you the exact techniques they use to get permission. As my way of saying thanks for rating and reviewing the show on iTunes. So join us next time. And remember, we're all on this journey together, learning, sharing, and becoming 365 hunters. Well, folks, you just got the PhD from Dan Infalt on the mental process and the confidence process, and we're going to close this section of the show. And stay tuned for the next segment coming up, and we're going to talk about marketing the outdoors versus being a hunter. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.